Good evening, everyone. Thursday night here on the channel. That means Redline Racing, Cory Harts Media Premier Series racing action from the Monster Mile, Dover Motor Speedway. It's home to Miles the Monster, the concrete oval in Delaware. Race number 6 in season number 6 for the drivers here in the series, and should prove to be an interesting night, bringing these next-gen cars to this 1 mile concrete oval. A lot of things that we're questioning what the cars will drive like here, but one thing we're already seeing, familiar names at the top of the scoring monitor. You see there at the top, Dylan Ault, multi-time winner here, over a dozen wins over his career here in the Premier Series. He's currently sitting at top of the leaderboard there. A solid time, a 22.68 for him, as we watch Eric Keplinger and company work around the track. Stage winner back at Coda. Just ahead of him there, Alex Hayter coming off turn number 4. Jordan Koontz, winner here last time out. He's sitting P2 right now on the scoring pylon, along with Brandon Ford, Blaze Brinkley, who's gone to victory lane this season as well, and Cody Webster completing the top 5. These drivers finding a little more speed out there, really close together in terms of their pace here this evening, and hoping that translates to great racing action on the track here. Just under 2 minutes, 30 seconds left in the practice session, and then of course one-shot qualifying for these drivers, and we'll get ready for our race this evening. I mentioned Jordan Koontz, the driver we'll be watching very closely here. He is the hot shoe right now in the series, has 2 wins so far this season, winning back at Atlanta and then getting his first road course victory in the series at Circuit of the Americas last race, breaking through to finally end that streak for himself and ending what has been a streak of different winners coming into Coda there. And now he'll look to try and become the first repeat winner here, having gone to victory lane back at this track earlier in January during his push for a championship in season 5. We'll see that 99 can do out here this evening, only about 0.02 of a second slower than Dylan Ault there, who also has a lot of experience here and has run very well here at Dover. Looking back at his performance, he went to victory lane at this track in season 4, won a stage, and nearly led 100 laps on his way to that victory. Other drivers out on the track, we talked about the 84 of Alex Hayter. Strong run for him back at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Got his first career stage win back at that track. A crazy race there. You want to see some great, exciting road course racing there, especially that opening stage where we saw Hayter get that victory. Be sure to watch the race replay here on the channel. Man, that was fun to call, and he was able to get himself in position and get that stage win and finish 5th ultimately after some contact toward the end of the race, the beginning of that second stage, relegating him back to 9th, able to surge back to get to 5th. So a good run for him. You saw Eric Keplinger there. He's sitting now in the 9th position on the track right now in terms of that speed right now in practice. So you can find a little more out there. He's not too far away from the current fast time right now, Dylan Ault, 22.68. We'll see if he can find a little more out there right now, further down in the top 10. Many drivers still stationary on pit road as we get ready for the transition from our current session into qualifying. Latham Joyner, another driver who is very strong on these type of tracks, sitting there 6th position. Luke Peters, he had a great run back when we were at Circuit of the Americas. He's sitting there in that 7th position. Ryan Kendrick, Eric Keplinger, as we profiled a moment ago, and Alex Hayter, your top 10. One driver who has been doing pretty well this season, a little bit off the pace right now, is Luke Lofaro, one of a few drivers that has 4 top 10s so far this season. He's back there well off the pace compared to the rest of the leaders. His best lap right now at 23.16. That is roughly about 0.3 of a second slower than the current time. Top time being held by Dylan Ault. So we'll see if he can find that little bit of speed as we get ready for our transition over to qualifying. This track is not easy. We're bringing a brand new car to this track. We'll talk all about it in our setup presented by Jones Racing Setups. But first, we'll go ahead and look at qualifying here as drivers begin to make their way off pit road. One of the first drivers creeping out. You know you like to play a game with us here. Sometimes they'll try and go out there a little bit and they'll go for it and whatever. But right now we're watching drivers kind of work their way up to speed here. C to 40. Taking a strategy here to get himself going as we get ready for qualifying. We'll see what Jordan Koontz is doing. A driver who is also, as I mentioned, been very strong here at Dover, and as a driver coming in with a victory already back last week at Circuit of the Americas and several weeks ago at Atlanta. This is a time for you to kind of show off and maybe push a little harder to get another win here. Down the turn 1 he goes as we get qualifying underway. Right along with him, see what he's seeing right there around this track. This distinctive banking kind of throws you up into the top of it and you're just diving down into the bowl of this track through 3 and 4. It's going to be a quick one here They can take about 22, 23 seconds to get around this facility. Off of turn 1, there he goes, clearing that lap there. They'll start flowing in here as they finish their times. Jordan Koontz holding the pole right now, 22.98. Cody Webster clocking in second right now. Dylan Ault running the high side of the track here, working his way off turn number 4. Jordan Koontz currently the pole sitter right now, 22.98. Will that time drop here though? Ault down into turn number 1. Cycling around here. It's one and done qualifying, so you got to get all you can out of that car in that one lap. You see the 40 swinging it close to that wall there, coming off the corner. Diving down into turn number 3. He'll bring it right around that apron surface there and may not be able to get a time in. May have had an incident there. May have had a brief touch of the wall. He will not get a time in. Switching drivers, we'll head over to the 11, Blaze Brinkley, two-time winner last season, winning at Myrtle Beach and Richmond, now coming around to take the white flag, I guess, the green flag and the white flag for his lap here in qualifying. Justin Rector, as he does that, leaps into the 4th position with a 23.31. The only driver cracking into the 22s is Jordan Koontz, your provisional pole sitter. Working down through turns 3 and 4, the 11. Almost wanted to call him 98. That is what his number was last season, but at 11, looking stout here. Let's see where it clocks him in at. Good time for him there, but still hasn't cracked the 22s. 23.17 for the driver of the 11. Looking at other drivers on the track right now, we'll see what we'll find here with Latham Joyner coming to the start-finish line to begin his first and only lap here in qualifying. A driver who knows how to get around these tight tracks here and can persevere in these situations. Let's see what he's able to do here in the session. Down to turn 3. It's really been great seeing him back on the track here. And let's see where this qualifying lap will put him as he comes off turn number 4. 7 times on the board so far, approaching the end of qualifying here in only a few moments. That'll put him solidly in 2nd place, narrowly bumping Cody Webster off the front row there, dropping him down to the 3rd position. Latham Joyner 2nd with a 23.05. So right now, no one able to contest Jordan Koontz in that great lap time of 22.98 for him. No drivers on the track right now as well getting their qualifying laps. And so right now, 8 times on the board so far for our drivers on the track. And you see how small this place is. Still plenty of time for them to be able to get on the track, get a lap in here in this one and done qualifying format. While we have some time here, we'll go ahead and take a look at our upcoming schedule of races here. We got a stint of 2 races at Bristol Motor Speedway coming up here next week. We got the dirt track. We're going to be watching it on TV this weekend as they head around the Bristol dirt track, and we'll be doing that next week here on the channel. And then we'll go ahead and get rid of all that dirt, run on the asphalt track a week later on April 28th. The Jones Racing setups race nights at that track, and then that'll lead us comfortably into our All-Star night, the Music City All-Star Showdown at Nashville Super Speedway, and then the Drake's Breaks 150 at Las Vegas, and then Darlington, presented by Landon Mills Designs. Landon Mills Designs Darlington 199 here on the channel. That'll set up a nice stretch of races going into the month of May. So a lot of good things to look forward to here. I'm really excited about that All-Star race here in a few weeks. The first time we raced at Nashville, it was a crazy show there, especially at the end. Look forward to seeing what they do when we head back to the Music City for some more racing action. Got Luke Peters, leaping up into the top 10 there. He's got himself on the board with a qualifying lap of 23.20 for him. Still no drivers able to find a way to catch up to Jordan Koontz there as the 90 makes his way coming off turn number 4 to begin his lap here. Time wrap on the clock. He may not be able to get that lap in here though. Going to be just short of being able to get that lap in. So Malachi Drake not able to get a lap in. 9 drivers qualified during that session, and the best one was Jordan Koontz. A great lap time for him in the 99. And you know what? Not surprised when you're talking about Dover. It's been a track where he has been incredibly impressive at. Really talking about his performance on the track. It's been great seeing how he's been able to adapt and learn as a driver and get better at these oval tracks. And it seems like whatever about it is about this track, it really suits his driving style. There seems to be a different side of him that comes out when we run here at Dover Motor Speedway, and it's come out here again this evening as he will take the pole here in this evening's race. A 22.98, putting him on the front row, the only driver to crack into the 22s this evening. He'll be joined on the front row by Latham Joyner. Cody Webster bumped down to the 3rd position. Brandon Ward, a new face here in the league, starting in 4 spots, and Blaze Brinkley completing the top 5. Luke Peters in 6th, Eric Keplinger 7th, Justin Rector back in 8th. Aaron Brown looking to find some momentum here this evening back in 9th, and Dylan Ault scored in 10th. Luke Lofaro, Ryan Kendrick, Malachi Drake, Alex Hayter, Will Cloud go back to 15th, and the rest of the field will be comprised of Casey Drake, Jeff Gross, Hunter Terpstra, and Anthony Hyatt. That'll look at your field here this evening for tonight's race. Let's go ahead and talk about tonight's race and go over exactly what to expect here at Dover Motor Speedway. 130 laps on the docket here. Pretty simple math. 130 laps on a mile track. That's 130 miles. That's about 1.61 kilometers for our fans of the metric system. 24 degrees of banking around this track. In terms of pit road, they'll have 3 sets of tires waiting for them, and they're likely to go and try and grab those up when they can get the ability to do so. And 43 laps will be the stage here this evening. The one and only stage. We'll see what drivers are able to be successful in that. If you watched last season during the playoffs, it got real dicey in that fight for the stage win there. Let's see if we have a repeat of history here this evening as we get ready to get going. Expect to see these cars rolling past us here on pit road momentarily. As you see, Jordan Koontz went to victory lane here not too long ago. This race was in the playoffs last season. It was the last race before we transitioned to the final round. This time it's pretty early in the season here, so we'll see if these drivers are able to get some momentum and help build their cause in this season. As they drive off pit road, let's get our eyes on them as they work onto the banking here. Let's talk about our setup here, the keys to the race this evening, presented by Jones Racing Setups. It's truly a face-off against Miles the Monster. You're bringing these next-gen cars here. Bit of an unknown for these drivers. We'll see how they approach and how they're able to adapt to the challenge this car and this track will bring them. You want to make sure you keep that equipment under you. Tires get eaten up here so easily. Watch to see how much they manage these tires in the opening run. Be on alert. You gotta be aware of all threats when you're taking on the monster. On-track incidents can quickly collect you into them. And of course, if you have a long green flag run, you gotta negotiate this tricky pit road and beware of that guy starting on the front row. Your reigning race champion here went to victory lane in January and already has 2 wins this season and 2 stage victories. A lot we'll be watching here this evening. It's gonna be an exciting one here. The pace car already in the pits. Let's get ready for some racing action at the Monster Mile. Green flag high in the air, and it'll come crashing down. Let's race in Dover. It's a dogfight coming off of turn number 4. Side by side, Jordan Koontz fights to lead. Latham Joyner will relent, look back to second. Car on the apron there as Brandon Ward goes up in the wall, collects a bunch of cars. Brandon Ward having issues there in the 41. That scores to 60 on your scoring pylon on the left side of your screen. Comes back up the track. We talk about how this track can just kind of ping-pong you back up into the action. You need to be aware of all the threats. A couple of drivers caught up in that one early on here. Pace car already back on the track on lap number 3. We'll go and take another look at that here as we pull up the replay. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this here. We watch that battle of the leaders coming off that corner and down the track. There was some contact between the 41 and the 11. And that collects both of them up into the wall. Eric Keplinger right in the thick of it there. Tries to drive through it. He will get away from that crash. See Ryan Kendrick, wrong place, wrong time. He's trying to figure out where to go through all this. He'll safely make his way through. That could have been a lot worse for a lot of these drivers. 28 also got a piece of that as well. Justin Rector. So I'm gonna look at that here. He tried to get through there. 28 right next to the wall. Tried to ride the wall to slide through that. Got some damage as a result. Back to live pictures here. Some drivers making pit stops, including the 41 heading to his pit stall there. That reminds me of Reed Sorensen's car back in the day there in the 41 going into his pit. We'll see what this moment does for him in the race. Other drivers heading back out of the pits. The 11 rejoining the track, and others right now, mainly your leaders opting to stay out here. Roughly the top 10 all opting to stay on the track here. The first driver out of the pits After making service there, Eric Keplinger back in 11th. So already seeing Miles the Monster make its presence known here at Dover. First caution of the night, lap number 4. We saw a great dogfight there between Latham Joyner, Jordan Koontz, and we'll probably rack that back here for a moment while we have a bit of time to show you that opening lap again, because that was exciting to see those drivers really fight for that position there as we got underway here. We're taking a look at that here. So this is a look at the start of the race here as Jordan Koontz brings them to the green flag. A great battle for the lead here coming off the corner. Closing the door early going in that corner was Jordan Koontz, the 3, hanging on to the low side of the track. I'm going to watch them real close here, switching camera angles throughout the battle. Great run there for the 3 coming off that corner. And down to the low side. They were door to door rolling through here, heading into turn number 4. Kept it clean coming off the corner. The momentum swinging to Jordan Koontz's favor. They routed the track here. They drive down to turn number 1. And of course, against them breaking out to put us under the yellow flag for the first time. Back to our live pictures here. Pace cars back in front of the group, and they're double file. That means we'll get the green flag this time by. Jordan Koontz, after having to fight off Latham Joyner, will be the control car for this restart coming up. Latham Joyner, Cody Webster, Luke Peters already up 2 spots this evening, and Dylan Ault already up 5. He's starting 10th. He's already inside the top 5. Aaron Brown up to 6. He's gained 4 spots. Luke Lofaro, Malachi Drake, Ryan Kendrick, and Alex Hayter, your top 10. Down 10 spots is Brandon Ward after being involved in the first caution of the night here at Dover. Pace car is in the pits, getting ready for the restart here. Should be an exciting one. We saw how racy both Koontz and Joyner got at the starts, but we see a repeat here. Green flag in the air. We're back underway on lap number 6. Diving down into turn 1. Great jump there for the 99 or the 91. We'll try and sail through. That's Webster now getting up to the 2nd position, moving up into the field early. Dylan Ault already up into the 3rd position after restarting in 5th. The car's on a mission here. It's a mission to get to first place, rolling off turn number 4, the 40 up into the 3rd position. Just behind him there, Aaron Brown has a whole side panel full of the 50. That's Luke Peters working outside line. Luke Peters got his first top 5 of the season last week back at Coda, and now looking to bring some performance to the oval side of things. Side by side, Aaron Brown machine trying to fight off that 50. Aaron Brown has had a really up and down season. He's shown runs to speed and hasn't been able to close the deal here, trying to hold on to that position right now. But Luke Peters now off the corner, they crash. Big crash there. Again, another incident early in this race, 18. More damage to his car and another bad week for that proximity racing machine. Caution is out here, lap number 8 of 130. We were watching that great side-by-side battle ahead of them. We were about to cut to Dylan Ault fighting with Cody Webster for the 2nd position, but we were watching this great intense battle between the 18 and the 50, and unfortunately it ended in a crash for both of those drivers. We're going to take a look at it here on the replay. So we're side-by-side here racing really hard, coming off the corner, side-by-side contact, and that's the thing that happens here. Just the slightest touch can result in a big crash. You see these drivers trying to get away from Malachi Drake, that blue and white car, trying to get away from what's going on there. Everyone coming to a stop. I think that's Ryan Kendrick right in the thick of things again on the outside there in the white and pink car there. And everyone else trying to drive away. Self-cleaning track, they like to call it. You'll see those cars drift down to the inside of the track after a crash. Well, it's about trying to avoid getting into them first. We're looking at it again. The cars on pit road, about 6 cars on pit road here. The 18 is coming up a bit into that 50, creating this crash here. And see drivers just trying to find an outlet. The 41 trying to snake his way through. He was involved in the first caution of the night. So back to live pictures here. Aaron Brown, a lot of damage to his car. And another rough week for that driver of the 18. It's been such an up and down season for him. As I mentioned, has shown speed here on the track, but just bad luck striking when he's been running here, and now back on the looking to get back in the swing of things and hopefully try and turn things around here. Still a lot of time left in the race. We'll see what this means for him, and we'll look back at the leaders here because we're seeing drivers march their way to the front, namely that one right there, the 40 of Dylan Ault, started back in 10th, already up to 2nd here. Dylan Ault knows how to run around these tracks. He is an eNASCAR NASCAR iRacing Coca-Cola Series driver, and he has been incredibly strong here on the service. A 13-time race winner here in the league. Last time we went to victory lane was back at Las Vegas last season, so while he's been running a pretty much a part-time campaign here in the series, he has been able to come back a time or two and, you know, just kind of remind people that he is a driver here in the series, going to victory lane in one of our playoff races last season at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, now already up to the second position. The pace car lights are out. That means we should be getting the restart here next time by. Let's see if we can get a long green flag running here. We've had these cautions happen pretty quickly back to back, but we've seen some great side-by-side battles here. I think everyone's just trying to figure out how hard they can race in these cars at this track right now. Getting ready for our restart. Jordan Koontz will yet again be the control car here on the outside. Dylan Ault, Cody Webster into third position after getting up to second early in that run. Latham Joyner, Luke Lofaro, your top five. Luke Lofaro working his way up into the standings here, into the top five, up 6 spots so far tonight. Kendrick, he's in 6th position, avoided that crash down the backstretch to get that position. Brandon Ward back up to 7th. Blaze Brinkley 8th. Eric Keplinger 9th, and Alexander Hayter rounding out the top 10. Justin Rector, Casey Drake, Luke Peters, Jeff Groves, and Anthony Hyatt, your top 15, as we wait for the pace car to make its way back down into its parking area on the front stretch here at Dover Motor Speedway. I'm certain I probably called it International Speedway a time or two. Allow me one race to get the transition from names here, as they, of course, went under an ownership change. Green flag is out. We're back underway here. Lap number 12. Have a battle for lead setting up here momentarily. Dylan Ault setting his sights on the 99 as they race off turn number 2. Single file for the most part there, as we see drivers trying to jockey for position a little further back. Brandon Ward down to the inside of the 90 of Malachi Drake will be side by side coming off turn number 4. We'll see if the outside line continues to prevail and help the driver on defense play offense. The 90 hanging well with that car there to 41, but will lose the spot. Malachi Drake will drop back to the 8th position, allowing Brandon Ward back up to 7th here. We started pretty close toward the front there after being involved in an early incident with Blaze Brinkley. Now they find themselves nose to tail here, and nose to tail as well, coming across the start-finish line. And soon as side by side, Dylan Ault looking low as they work through turns 1 and 2. This can be a great battle here, side by side. 2 winners here at Dover fighting for the lead here early in the race. Very slim margin between these two drivers in practice in terms of race pace. And now Jordan Koontz fighting back on the outside as Dylan Ault continues to give him a great bit of a battle here down to turn 1. Cody Webster watching this whole thing unfold through his windshield in the 3rd position. Jordan Koontz using that outside line effectively to really negate the progress of the 40. Great dogfight here down in the turn 3. Jordan Koontz continuing to fight back on the high side of the track, while Dylan Ault is forced to stay low and mitigate his pace coming off the low side of the track and not getting to Koontz there. He'll lead that lap and slowly trying to edge forward as the 40. The 99 is keeping that car wound up and maintaining pace, and the 40 and the 91 getting to each other. Big crash there. Caution back out here on lap number 16. Caution out here affecting our leaders. This is twice this season we've seen a big crash affect our leaders in yet another race, at least 2 in a row where we've seen Dylan Ault have bad luck early in a race, pretty much eliminating him from contention in the event. We saw what happened back at COTA. He ran so well, got the pole award back at COTA, and ended up having an issue going down into turn number 1 and lost control of the car and got a lot of damage there. This race in a fight for the lead, big collision. A lot of damage to his car here. We'll go ahead and take a look at what happened there and go look at the replay here as we're back behind the pace car for the 3rd time this evening. So again, we were talking about Cody Webster watching his battle through his windshield here. Just a great, clean dogfight between the 99 and the 40 here. Let's just kind of see if we can figure out what happened here off the corner. Not sure if the 40 just got loose there, and I think he did. Just had some handling issues and went up right into the path of the 91, and that's really just not much you can do there. You look at it again, of course, but it's kind of looking from that one angle. We'll rack it back again. It's like the car just broke loose on him right in the path of Cody Webster, who is having another rough race here after what happened to COTA to him last week. We'll look at it one more time here. see the car's already loose there. Rack it back a bit. Let's look at that again. You see the car's already getting away from all. You see the wheel, the hands working to try and control that car. It just snaps back to the right in the path of the 91. Nothing he could do there to 3, trying to take evasive action to avoid that calamity. He'll get loose there. He'll catch the wall as well. Just really bad situation for a lot of the drivers there. Lofaro gets caught up in it, just barely making a piece of it. But a lot of drivers who arranged for the front caught up in that. Again, Dylan Ault, serious damage to his car. Cody Webster, big hit for him in that crash as well. Back to live pictures. There's the 40 in the pits right now, getting serviced here, and our leader is still Jordan Koontz, who had a great fight with that 40 car on that restart and for those following laps. But now the race is really being slowed down by these caution flags. We know these drivers are all focused, well, many of them are focused on trying to get themselves into the Road to Pro Series. That is kind of the stair step to try and get into the Pro Series here on the iRacing service. That's something you have to be thinking about here. The clock is ticking. Will they be able to get to that race on time if the pace of this race continues here with not only 19 laps into a 130 lap event here at Dover Motor Speedway? And gotta get some long green flag runs in here if we want to try and get this race done and not be against the clock for those drivers. With that, let's go ahead and get ready for the restart here. Third caution of the night, Jordan Koontz will be the control car leading them back to the green flag here. Malachi Drake up to the second position, up 11 spots tonight. Blaze Brinkley in third, Alexander Hayter in fourth, Eric Keplinger fifth, Luke Peters, Ryan Kendrick, Justin Rector, Jeff Gross, and Anthony Hyatt rounding out the top 10. As we talked about in our keys to the race, this track can bite you here. On-track incidents, even when you're an innocent bystander, can just draw you in and you can have your race derailed by all of it here. Only one car out of the race so far this evening, Aaron Brown. Let's see if that trend will continue here. We're seeing the cautions rack up. We want to see more drivers out of the race. Let's see what happens. Getting ready for the green flag. Pace car already in the pits. We're back underway here. Great jump there for the 99 as he gets the racing back underway. Already consolidating to single file through the front right now. Jordan Koontz out to a 4/10 of a second lead over Blaze Brinkley. I think a little racy behind him as Alex Hayter looks down to the inside. 1 to 50 right now, and his driver stopped the track, missing the mark there a little bit as they get back under racing condition. Lap number 21 coming up toward the halfway point of the stage here. One single stage in our season here so far as Keplinger sails on the outside here. We see some drivers have a bit of a tire differential here as well. Remember, some drivers opted to stay out here during this latest caution. Only Jordan Koontz, Malachi Drake, and Alex Hayter have yet to come to pit road. Eric Keplinger hit it back on lap number 3, is now moving into it for the front. Which is ahead of him on lap number 9. Some of these drivers work their way toward the front here. Keplinger, he's looking at his time in the pits. It could have just been a fuel stop for him. But looking at other drivers like Luke Peters, a little longer in the pits there for him. Maybe 4 times of fuel and getting some service, a little more service there, maybe some damage as well. Resuming his work back toward the front. Remember, this 40 car was involved in the latest caution there. And in a great fight with Jordan Koontz, a very clean fight there before handling the issue out of turn number 2, sent him into the wall. Back to the front here, seeing one driver reel in that 99 car. It is the 11, the Blaze Brinkley, like I mentioned before, 2-time race winner last season, won at Myrtle Beach Speedway. A fantastic performance from him, a track he is very comfortable with and enjoys. Really on show there, and also finding a victory back at Richmond Raceway in the playoffs, which helped him extend his performance all the way into the championship round. So this driver knows how to really race hard on these tough and gritty tracks. If you followed us back during Truck Series days here on the channel, this driver was among those drivers who was always toward the front. They have one of the best short track programs over there at Brinkley after racing, and it seems like that is translated here to the next gen car. He is closing in on Jordan Koontz. Right now the gap holding right around 0.2 of a second, and we'll take a look at the lap time history and compare these two. See it leveling out a bit there. Saw Brinkley gain some time there. Now things stabilizing, and again Jordan Koontz now trying to pull away just a little bit here. The gap just shy of 0.3 of a second. As you watch them look a little further back, Alex Hayter is going to lose a spot there, and maybe some more to Dylan Ault and a couple of others as he just gets out of the groove there. He'll lose a few places coming off kind of the four. Dylan Ault already back up to the 6th position. And I'll show that information. This is a battle for the 4th position. Luke Peters just ahead of him there in this group. Eric Kepler in the next car ahead for Dylan Ault there. Watch him working through this corner here, really smooth through the corner, but I think he's just gonna have to figure out what the gremlins are in his car coming off turn 2 to be able to take that front inside the straight lane. And now applying pressure to the back bumper at 34 is being settled down a bit. Cody Webster back into this battle as well. He's down to the 8th position, still down 5 spots so far tonight. And then side by side, the fight underway. The 40 gets to the inside, and it seems like when you let someone in to grab a spot away, it leaves you very vulnerable there, possibly getting overtaken. So now Dylan Ault into the top 5 there, back to 6th. And back at the front, the lead edging down just a little bit there for Blaze Brinkley, closing in on Jordan Koontz, coming to lap number 30 here this evening. Great racing here so far. Let's take a look at the lap time comparison again. It's always great to be able to show you this data to see where the time and kind of the ebbs and flows of the race are. Right now, Blaze Brinkley finding a little more speed there for a moment, but it kind of just keeps leveling out there. He's slowly making inroads on Jordan Koontz here, and we'll see if he can continue to find that pace he needs to close the gap here and maybe bring a challenge there, because Dylan Ault is still coming to that red car in the background. That car was racing for the lead here a little bit ago, and you see just about 7 thousandths of a second faster was Blaze Brinkley the last time out. Things settling down here, looking a little further back in the field. Cody Webster, he's back up to the 6th position, down 3 from where he started, involved in that crash around turn 2, involving the race lead, the battle for the race lead. Dylan Ault was right there fighting for it, got loose coming off turn 2, lost control of that car. He's now back up to the 6th position, trying to close up on 5th, and Dylan Ault looking to try and catch up to that driver right there, Malachi Drake. Got a whole mirror full of that car right behind him there. They worked their way around turns 3 and 4. Dylan Ault really showing pace here again. 13 series wins, and he has gone to victory lane at this track a time or two. He's on his performance this season, even though he has been a part of the conversation in a lot of these races, has yet to go to victory lane this season. Already has led 153 laps coming into tonight's race, and he already has a stage win as well. We see as we pull up this data here, they're closing in on each other. Dylan Ault slowly reeling in this group there. We'll look back at this battle here because this is going to start getting heated up real quick here. You look at the spread here, they've got a gap between themselves and Dylan Ault, about 1.3 seconds. But if they start racing side by side here, that's really going to allow Ault and others to be able to roll in and take advantage. So let's see how aggressive they are, so how they're going to race each other for the stage win. Not too far away from the end of the stage here this evening. We'll bring up that race information for you so you can see that and understand when we're in the stage caution. 43 laps is the stage here, so we're quickly closing in on the final 10 laps of this stage, and then we'll rack them up, do it again to the finish. Dylan Ault right now about 7/10 of a second behind race leader Jordan Koontz, and then Blaze Brinkley holding tied behind him about 1/10 of a second behind the 99. Got some parity toward the front here as well. Ford leading, a Toyota and a Chevrolet, all the manufacturers in this next-gen era represented at the front coming through turns 3 and 4. Dylan Ault has a lot of speed there in that car right now. We'll go ahead and take a look at the lap time history. Look at there, the speed differential. Now likely difference in tires as well. Remember, he was involved in that crash, came in, got that car fixed slightly, took fuel and tire there during that stop. So that could be playing into this as well. Blaze Brinkley last on pit road, lap 3. That was a short stop for him, and Jordan Koontz is yet to make a pit stop this evening. So we'll go ahead and keep watching this battle here. Down to the inside goes that number 40 fighting with Blaze Brinkley. He'll get the spot away with ease, and now Jordan Koontz will have his dancing partner back again for another battle. This time, tires are a little bit different for these drivers here as Dylan Ault surges to the inside with ease. He'll grab the lead away from Jordan Koontz. This will be one of the first lead changes of the night, and now the 99 and the 11 will have to battle before he looks to drive away here. great battle here for second position right now between these two drivers. Jordan Koontz already has a couple of stage wins this season, and the 11 trying to get his first, but now they've got to figure out a way to track down that car right there to 40 as he works his way off of turn number 4. He's now out to a 6/10 of a second lead as these two now settle down, and Jordan Koontz falls back to the 3rd position. The 11's been very stout here this evening. We talked about how strong he is on these kind of tracks, and now looking to try and claim a solid runner-up finish here in the stage as Jordan Koontz fades back a bit on probably some pretty old Goodyear Eagles right now. Cody Webster, great rebound from him after being involved in that incident earlier that brought the caution flag most recently. He's now in 4th, and Luke Peters inside the top 5 here in that 50 car. Also, Alexander Hayter and Malachi Drake each up 7 positions so far tonight in 6th and 7th place respectively, but Alex Hayter is looking to try and trade that here and move to 84, up 1 more place, and he will do just that coming off of turn number 4. He'll move into the 6th position as we approach the end of the stage. The 40 of Dylan Ault, strong pace for him. You wouldn't have thought he was involved in a crash about a few laps ago, and now he's gotten that car fixed and has gotten his way back up to the front here, and now working off turn number 4, leading this race right now by a nice little margin. A good run there, and I go back to what we saw between these drivers and how they fought for that lead before the incident there between 40 and 99, because when he was forced to have to really face some pressure there, the 40 had to adjust his line. I think that caused some issues there for him to get loose off turn 2. And Jordan Koontz will fall back to the 3rd position. As a result, Brinkley will split the 2 right there in the 11 car to finish second in. The caution is out. That means we've got our stage winner here. That 40 will go ahead and clock in a stage win here. Congratulations to him, as we now have our stage winner here in the Latham Joyner Designs Dover 130. So congratulations, Dylan Ault. That's his 2nd stage win this season. Now ties him with Jordan Koontz for most stage wins so far this season. So now we get a chance to breathe and settle down here right now as these drivers will get back behind the pace car and figure out what their strategy is going to be here. Likely 4 tires and fuel. We know some drivers did have issues and came down the pit and go ahead and get tires during some of those stops. But some drivers opted to stay out here for as long as they could, like Jordan Koontz, like Alex Hayter, like Malachi Drake, so they may have an extra set of tires to work with here later in the race. But now the drivers get ready to make their way into this tricky pit road for some, their first pit stop of the night. Others, they're back in here for more servicing after being involved in incidents or just trying to get themselves into their fuel window here. Right now you see everyone making their way down this pit road. It's like 35 miles an hour down this pit road. It is a slow lumbering crawl down here to get to your pit stall here at Dover Motor Speedway. And that will give us a chance to go ahead and talk about a couple of things here. One being, kind of look back at our last race here. When we were running back at Circuit of the Americas, we'll go and bring up that race information for you there. Jordan Koontz going to victory lane at the Red Line Racing Austin Grand Prix, presented by Cory Harts Media. Finished 1.6 seconds ahead of Nick Miller, your season 5 champion. Luke Peters, a great run for him. That is his best finish of the season, of 3rd back at Coda. Cory Harts and Alex Hayter rounding out the top 5 there, with Jordan Koontz becoming the first repeat winner this season. The drivers finally got a pit road there. Dylan Ault off pit road first. Jordan Koontz, Cody Webster, Alexander Hayter, Malachi Drake, the first 5 exiting the pits. The drivers still getting serviced here. You see them following off pit road. Brandon Ward still in the pits here. Luke Lofaro just getting ready to head out here. Luke Peters as well, still in the pits, and Hunter Terpstra getting ready to head out of the pits as well. So, see some drivers finishing up their stops, and we're going to get back to green flag racing here. So now, while we have a minute, we'll go ahead and also talk about our upcoming schedule. We talked about kind of the upcoming short-term schedule. Let's go ahead and get the large panel on the screen here for you so you see exactly what to expect here on the channel over the next few weeks. After we get past Las Vegas and Darlington, we got some 1.5 mile oval racing coming up, going to go Homestead Miami Speedway, a track that's been very, very good to some of our drivers here on the channel. We'll see how it looks for them when we head there this season. We got Michigan, Richmond, and New Hampshire to round out the races that'll help us set our field for our playoffs. 14 drivers will contend over 6 weeks. Talladega, what a crazy exciting race where we saw Benjamin White break through and get his first victory here in the league. Let's see if we'll have that again when we begin the playoffs this season. Watkins Glen, Iowa, Martinsville on the docket for these drivers, and then a return to the Indianapolis Oval Course, and we'll round things out with the Landon Mill Designs Championship Night at Kansas Speedway. So a lot of great racing on the schedule here, and you already see some winners there as well. Got a couple of one repeat winner there, Jordan Koontz. So we'll see if more occur this season. Getting ready for the restart here. Dylan Ault, Jordan Koontz will fight for the lead going down to turn 1. Cody Webster, Alex Hayter, Malachi Drake, your top 5. Kendrick, Cloud, Keplinger, Gross, and Hyatt for the top 10. We're back underway here. Lap number 48. Good jump for the 40. Getting down to turn number 1. Great jump for him and his company there with the 99 and the 84 heading off into the corner as well. The first side-by-side battle involving Ryan Kendrick and the 90 there. He'll go and settle in behind it. Ryan Kendrick in a big traffic jam behind him. We all heard of cars here at the Monster Mile fighting for position deeper in the pack. This is about around the 14th position with the Lofaro and company all racing each other here. Blaze Brinkley in front of this group with Casey Drake in the UPS colors and the Jordan colors of Luke Lofaro. Real hectic back here, a little deeper in the field. The 32 there on the low side of the track, Anthony Hyatt trying to figure out his way around this track as things begin to get single file now coming off turn number 4. Laps into our race here. Jordan Koontz closing in on the back bumper of Dylan Ault heading off of turn number 2. Nice little single file train here in Alexander Hayter right there in the back of this group as well. Alex Hayter got that first stage win of his season back at Circuit of the Americas, and now as we get this stage, the final stage underway, a good start for him, sitting in 3rd position, up 11 spots so far tonight. A good bit of performance there, and he's had some up and downs here this season. His best finish of the season came back at the Daytona International Speedway to start the season, and then just some ebbs and flows, some kind of dips in performance there, and it seemed like he's been able to turn the corner here a little bit. And of course, building on that top 5 he got back at Circuit of the Americas, sitting 3rd right now at the 84. A little further back, Latham Joyner working his way through traffic. Got Cody Webster behind him. Down the low side of the track is Eric Keplinger gets loose coming off the corner. He'll lose some position, some time there. The 11, nowhere for him to go. Have to fight to get around that 34 car. He'll do just that. The 11 able to get by. Keplinger now will fall back to the 10th position. Blaze Brinkley back up in the 9th spot. Two-time winner back last season. Now trying to work past Will Cloud. Front, Dylan Ault leading this race by only a 1/10 of a second over Jordan Koontz, running to the high side there. He'll fall back to 2/10 now. We'll do a lap time comparison between these two and see what the pace looks like there. Really fractional gains for Jordan Koontz over the last few laps. Only a couple of thousandths of a second over the last 2 laps to try and close in on the back bumper of Dylan Ault just ahead of him. Seems like once that car gets out front, there's a data updates now. Back 3/10 of a second, just falling back into the clutches of Alexander Hayter is the 99. It seems like as this run goes on, the 40 is able to find a little more speed out there and be able to get the performance he needs out of the car, but slowly reeling them back in is Jordan Koontz. And we'll let that telemetry stay on the screen for one more lap and see what we can glean from his last time by at lap number 55. 3/10 of a second gain there. So I think Jordan Koontz is experimenting, trying to find something there right now to come close to the back bumper of our race leader. You see it's gloomy out here this evening. Very cloudy around Dover, Delaware right now. Looking at the weather, a cloudy 79 degrees here, 85 degree track temperature. Helping these cars a little more handling out here, but still, these cloudy conditions affecting the race a little bit for these drivers, and maybe some drivers who like a slicker track facing some challenges here early on, but right now these 3 holding strong pace right now. They work around this track here. Looking at the battle for first place, you see these 3 right on top of each other here. The front 3 within 3/10 of a second. We got back 1.1 to get to Malachi Drake. That lap time there on the scoring column tells you the last one off the field, all of these drivers making stops during the most recent caution, which was our stage caution there on lap number 44. So these drivers now settling into this long run here and watching these guys just kind of figure out what their next move is going to be. We're getting into that phase of the race. We talked about it in our race preview. What does this mean for us? What does this mean in terms of the threats on the track? We've seen the on-track issues affect some drivers out here being caught up in early crashes and having to get their cars fixed up and get serviced. And now, something else that's rearing its head here, the possibility of a long green flag run and how they're going to approach getting on and off the road. This place is not easy to get into the pit zone. You can see how that surface where the apron is just so tricky to go into when normal conditions. But when you factor in worn out tires, that can really play a factor here. And if I'm not mistaken, I already hear, I think drivers maybe clutching a little bit around this track to start playing with the fuel game here. So we might start seeing, as I always said, green flag stops, some fuel games being played right now. Gotta be alert to those threats here at Dover. The setup always brought to you by Jones Racing Subs. We're watching these drivers here. Let's look a little further back into the field here. I feel like I'm watching a rap or something. Let's look a little further back in the field here. Eric Keplinger and company. This is right now basically your battle for the 9th position in this group here. Eric Keplinger, Casey Drake, Will Cloud, Jeff Gross, all within about 5/10 of a second of each other. And Lofaro, who's had a pretty strong season here, took the provisional back at Circuit of the Americas. Meantime, he is about 1.3 seconds back of this group at the race for position here. Casey Drake up 7 spots so far tonight in that 29 UPS car here. So seeing him try to get a nice little run here this evening. A little further ahead into the field, looking back at our leaders, they're getting pretty strung out here in this battle for the first position. Just outside of top 5 is Cody Webster, still holding on to a good position right now, kind of in this gap between Ryan Kendrick and Latham Joyner right now. They're in that battle for the 5th spot. You see up 7 spots so far is Ryan Kendrick into 00. Latham Joyner not too far behind, down 5 spots here in that 3 car. And then Cody Webster in between them, down 3, started inside the top 5. He's now running in the 6th position, 5/10 of a second back of Ryan Kendrick. Back in the front here, Dylan Ault still leading this group, has led a lot of this race here since being able to get the lead away from Jordan Koontz as they race to the end of the last stage. What I'm very curious about is how is this car going to run as this race goes on and comes to the tires falling off, but I have to think about that in a little while because now we've got another caution here, 5th one of the night. And now you see that car at 28, a lot of damage to his machine as he gets back going here. Look at the replay here and maybe get some insight into what happened there. Classic Dover incident. The car starts to lose handling. You miss your mark, that wall will just ping-pong you down into the opposite side of the track, and that's what happened to that car there. Unfortunately, the leader is coming around, and he'll get some cleaned up and head on back at the track. So now everyone gets kind of brought back together here again after what was a very exciting kind of a restart there after some quick cautions that slowed down the pace of the race, but some hints of a long green flag run there. That's nerfed for now. The drivers head back into the pits here again. So Dylan Ault will lead everyone back to the pits. Blaze Brinkley will stay out here along with Casey Drake, Eric Keplinger, also staying out on the track with Will Cloud. So 4 drivers at least, maybe even looking like 5 drivers will stay out here for this caution period. Some strategy already coming into play here early on. You see those drivers passing by the camera there on the outside of the track on the racing surface and the rest of the field, making stops here right now. Dylan Ault pitting from the lead and bringing a lot of other drivers with them right now, looking like about a dozen or so cars in the pits here, getting service. Hunter Terpstra, Anthony Hyatt in multiple laps down, and Aaron Brown out of the race here. Cody Webster first out of the pits there. That could have been some strategy along with Latham Joyner. Watch these drivers race their way out of the pits here. First out, very quick pit stop there for Cody Webster, 6.6 seconds for him, and then 5.7 for Latham Joyner. Probably just a splash of fuel to get themselves closer to their fuel target here and getting back on the track. First drivers with stops around the 14-second range. Jordan Koontz among them, Alex Hayter, and others, and maybe a speeding penalty for the 91. He is slowing down here. Might be a penalty, so maybe trying to race Latham Joyner out of the pits. That may have cost him a penalty there, so he's going to have to drop back there after taking the strategy. He's going to have to now fall to the back of the field here. We'll see what that means for him in terms of his race strategy here, but going back to those drivers who did take tires and servicing here, looking at his field, very, very interesting situation. It's very, very interesting seeing these drivers take strategy here, at least at this juncture of the race. Jordan Koontz, 14-second stop, along with Dylan Ault, Alex Hayter, Malachi Drake, Ryan Kendrick, Nick Peters, and other drivers as well. But we're seeing diverging strategies here at the front. As a result, we talked about drivers who stayed out. These are the group of drivers who stayed out here on the track. Looking at some of them, Casey Drake, Eric Hepperling, Will Cloud, a couple of the other drivers who did stay out the first time, coming out of the pits this time. We'll go ahead and pull that information for you and show you the last time that these drivers were on pit road. Casey Drake, Eric Hepperling, Will Cloud was lap number 45, and Latham Joyner up to the 4th position, taking strategy. Only a 5.7 second stop for him, with Jordan Koontz full service for him in the 5th spot. As we get ready for this restart here, coming around to a nice old lap number 69. Expecting to see Casey Drake lead him back to the green flag here on this upcoming restart. Eric Hepperling up 5 spots in the 2nd position. He'll join him there. Casey Drake, notably right now, up 15 positions so far tonight. And that's a great surge for him as we get ready for what should be a very exciting restart here, as we see drivers on different strategies setting up shop at the front as we get ready for what should be a fun restart. Let's go ahead and talk about the standings here and put in information for you, show you where everyone's running right now in terms of the standings coming out of Circuit of the Americas and Texas. Jordan Koontz will inherit the point standings lead after getting the victory back at Circuit of the Americas. Luke Lofaro, 30 points back of the race. The points leader, Zachary Thornton, in the 3rd position. Alex Hayter and Malachi Drake, the top 5. And of course, that 2nd win of the season, helping elevate Jordan Koontz to the points lead. We saw Luke Lofaro opt to take a provisional there along with Zachary Thornton last race. Getting ready for the restart here. Casey Drake is the race leader for our upcoming restart. Eric Hepperling, Will Cloud, Latham Joyner, and Jordan Koontz, your top 5. Again, as we talked about a moment ago, Latham Joyner, Jordan Koontz. They came to pit road last time. Latham Joyner, a short stop for him. Jordan Koontz, the first among the drivers who took full service during that caution period. Dylan Ault, Alex Hayter, Malachi Drake, Ryan Kendrick, Nick Peters, your top 10. Pace car making its way in. We're getting ready for what should be an exciting restart. Good drive away there for the 29. We got some work to do here with those fresh tires. It's hard surging there, and I think we had an issue there. The 99 around. 99 goes around there. The caution right back out on the track. I'm not sure if that was a spinning of the tires. We saw a bit of a blink there from one of the cars there, so some damage on the 99 now. We'll go and try and rack it back and figure out what happened to bring out this caution, but that is our 6th one this evening as we are past halfway, so we're getting close to the end of this race, but the yellows are beginning to rack up here. 6th one of the night here this evening. So we're going to take a look here and see what happened. We'll rack it back one more time and see what happened to that caution. It's hard to see there. We'll go and look at it one more time. We saw the some contact there potentially. We'll look at it one more instance here. So we're watching the restart here, and look at 3. Maybe it's got a little loose there, and maybe netcode contributing to that a lot in that situation. The 3 and the 99 nearly making contact. Could have been netcode. And then right down toward the 84, who was having a good run here. The 40 also nearly caught up in that as well. Let's go ahead and take another look at that again at full speed. That was netcode pure and simple there. And 84, nowhere for him to go. Just an innocent bystander in all of that. Back to live pictures here at the track, and back on the pace car again, the 6th time this evening. Jordan Koontz and Alex Hayter will bring their cars into the pits here as we're back behind the pace car again, and Casey Drake will stay out as the race leader, up 15 spots tonight, and he'll lead him back as long as he stays out. Back to the green flag here after we had a quick yellow on a restart. Get back, we'll go and continue to set up what should be an exciting couple of weeks here, going to Bristol Motor Speedway next race for some dirt track racing. behind the pace car for what is the 6th time this evening after a crash on the restart, affecting some of our leading drivers as we were getting back underway here. Casey Drake is the race leader with Aaron Keplinger, Will Cloud, Latham Joyner, and Dylan Ault, your top 5. So we talked about our upcoming schedule of races here. Should be an exciting few weeks coming from the channel, and we'll go and talk about that again here and show you that schedule on the right side of your screen. Bristol Motor Speedway on the docket for these drivers next week. We'll be doing dirt track racing for the first time since last season. It's been a fun one there, seeing these cars take to the dirt track at Bristol Motor Speedway. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do with these cars there, and who our dirt track specialists are secretly in this field. We know the drivers are multidisciplined here in the league who take part in competition here on the iRacing service, running in both road and oval and dirt oval and dirt road competitions. So you see some new faces toward the front, and of course you always bring out your dirt specialists when we have that race there. Bristol Motor Speedway, the asphalt track, we will clear that dirt out there real quick and get ready for some asphalt racing there just after our race next week. Nashville Super Speedway will play host to our all-star race, the Music City Showdown. And then Las Vegas Motor Speedway and Darlington on the docket here. So some pretty tough tracks, tough ovals on the docket for these drivers. Our next road course won't be until the playoffs. I think the second race of the playoffs when we head to New York and the Watkins Glen International road course up there and run on the newly rescanned track. That's going to be a fun race, running on the new surface there and a new layout for these drivers, being able to really swing these cars around and have some fun. Still got a race to decide here in Dover, though, getting ready for the restart out front. Should be scored as Casey Drake will be the race leader. Eric Keplinger in second, Latham Joyner, Will Cloud, Dylan Ault, your top 5. Malachi Drake, Luke Peters, Ryan Kendrick, Blaze Brinkley, and Brandon Ward, your top 10. Luke Lofaro, Cody Webster, and Jordan Koontz back to 13. Jeff Gross and Alex Hayter back to 15. We'll see if the drivers can work their way back to the front here after being involved in incidents. Ready for the restart? Casey Drake will lead him back to the green flag. And let's see if we'll get some green flag racing in here. The end of the race is not too far away, but we still got a lot of racing to go. Green flag back out here on lap number 75. Jump there for the 29, but Eric Keplinger not looking to lose any time in the back of that 29. The race out the corner as now looks like Brandon Ward has an issue there. He'll go ahead and just disconnect from the room. When we hit that wall so hard he disconnected there, we'll keep our eye on that to see if he is back, but still leading this race is that 29 of Casey Drake, but Dylan Ault is closing up on the back bumper of these cars that did not pit for the most recent caution period. He's up in the third spot and looking to grab second away down to the inside on the 34 of Eric Keplinger. He closed the door there, tried to at least, but the 40 had already established the position. They'll do side by side coming off of turn number 4. And they're side by side for a few spots back there. A couple of drivers past the wall. He may have rushed that wall there. Now the 40 is up to the third position. Still couldn't get to Keplinger that last time by great rotation to the corner last time. Not able to do much there. As Keplinger looked to try and make a move on the 29, couldn't do it. Now he has a whole side panel full of the 40 coming off of turn number 4. Goes to the high side track. He'll make the pass. Dylan Ault now up to the first position in a matter of 2 corners from turn 4 to 1. He went from third to first. Dylan Ault back up front, leading this race here, single file through much of the field. Ryan Kendrick gets loose there and goes around, hangs on to it. Nope, he won't. Caution is out for the 7th time tonight. He'll get it back under control here and drive it back around, and they're going there. Some damage to the front end of that car. It seemed like he was fighting some handling issues in the 00 as he was working his way around the track there on his early bit of a run. 7th caution of the night here. We'll go and look at it again. So watch him again coming here. 3 turns number 1 and 2. He got loose there. Maybe got a bump there. Not sure, but definitely got loose and cut the wall there a little bit. A bit of a harder hit there the second time. Look at it again from this angle. It's hard to tell there from that angle, and then kind of gets lost under the bridge coming off of turn number 3, watching from that angle there. Back to live pictures here. The track drivers making pit stops here. Some drivers did stay out, though. Dylan Ault, Malachi Drake, Blaze Brinkley, Jordan Koontz, and a few others opting to stay out here joining them. Luke Peters, Alexander Hayter, Cody Webster staying on the track here. Aaron Keplinger, Latham Joyner, Will Cloud, Lofaro, and others heading to the pits here. So lap number 80 of 130 right now here at the track. And again, we saw that decent run there. I'd say a medium run here at the track, and then the cautions come out and they seem to breed caution. We just get the yellow flag right back out onto the track here again. It slows the pace of this race down. And I went back to something that I talked about earlier in the race, the fact that some of these drivers are on a time crunch, wanting to try and get to another race here this evening. But unfortunately, when you have these yellow flags continuing to stack up the field here and slow down the pace, it just really puts you in a time crunch here. And you want to see great green flag racing as well. You want to be able to see these drivers really fight for position, jockey for every bit of track position. But it's had a few more yellows here this evening. I was actually expecting more green flag racing, but this is our 7th one of the night here on lap number 81. And when we get back, we'll go ahead and profile one of our drivers who's been doing pretty well so far this season and having a good run here this evening. Front right now, currently scores a race leader. Showing to be Dylan Ault. Yes, it is, because it looks like Blaze Brinkley is scored as being in the pits right now. So Dylan Ault is your race leader. So getting ready for what should be an exciting restart here for us as Dylan Ault back out front here with Malachi Drake on his outside. Gained 11 spots so far tonight in the race. We know that's going to fluctuate through the week, but we'll see if he's able to hold on to those spots here. Jordan Koontz back in the 3rd position. Luke Peters, Alexander Hayter, the top 5. Cody Webster in 6th. Casey Drake, Eric Keplinger, Luke Lofaro, and Anthony Hyatt, your top 10. Driver who we'll talk about briefly right now as part of our Landon Mills Designs driver profile will be Alexander Hayter. 4 starts this season, 3 top 10s, and his best finish coming back at Daytona. We talked about it earlier in the race. He gained 8 spots last race to win the state of some of the Americans and finished 5th. Let's see what we can do here tonight. Getting ready for the restart here. Let's hop in and ride along with them as we get the green flag here and head down into turn number 1. Every week we'll try to have a driver spotlight for you to talk about some of these stars here in the league, and they're always presented by Landon Mills Design. Discover this portfolio and learn more about his work. Landon Mills. Hayter now settling into the 5th position. Dylan Ault gets a great jump on the restart, heading off in turn 1, lap number 83. He scored in the 1st position, trying to get himself another win here at this track. Did it back in season number 4. In that race, he led nearly 100 laps in that event, nearly half of the 200 run that evening. You can tell this is a different kind of race too. With only 130 laps on tap, you chopped off a hefty number of laps to be able to try and get yourself back in a position. They know it's go time. They're trying to get to where they need to go, and that is in front of the field right now. Dylan Ault still leading a little further back, single file racing through much of the field as they work down the backstretch here. We're going to get our eyes on some of the drivers further back. You can join right in the middle of the sandwich here with Casey Drake. This is the race for the 6th position here. So not too far away from Luke Peters and Alexander Hayter as part of that battle for the but we got some work to do. That position side-by-side racing here between the 3 and the 29. The 3 will grab the spot away using the high side there to get that spot away and get himself into 6th place. A slick move there for Latham Joyner as part of his pack right now. And then a little further back, you see 20 of Luke Lofaro getting a little closer to this racing action here. All part of this battle for the 6th position. Trying to hold back Ryan Kendrick, who went for a bit of a ride there to bring us to his latest caution that came out only a few laps ago. These drivers race toward the front here. Got our eyes on this battle for right now the 9th position. Kendrick will grab it away from 20, working through turns 3 and 4, and we haven't really seen as much side-by-side racing or sustained side-by-side like we saw earlier in the race between Jordan Koontz and Dylan Ault. That was a great battle we saw. Those drivers using their respective lines to try and jockey for the position. Haven't seen that really recur much. It seems like those 2 drivers get a run, particularly on the low side of the track. They're really able just to grab that position away from the car they're racing. Pretty much, I'd say, 8 out of 10 times before they get the time. Pretty easily. Lap number 88, this battle cooling down a bit. This is right now 9th place, Ryan Kendrick. Back back at the front. Jordan Koontz still within 1/10 of a second of Dylan Ault. Malachi Drake holding strong onto that third position right now, but Luke Peters trying to reel him in to head down into turn number 1. Malachi Drake on lap number 89, possessing one of the podium steps right now. Finished 9th back at Coda after starting in the 15th position. And while he's had kind of an up and down season, he's had some really good flashes of speed in these next-gen cars. One of his best runs coming back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, where he finished second, leading 22 of 105 laps, and that race really came down to a great fight between Jordan Koontz. I feel like I say his name a lot here, but he's been kind of the story this season between the 99 and the 90. They fought really hard with these next-gen cars around that track, and now we're seeing the 90 really find some strides here and trying to get some good runs chained together, sitting aside the top 10 in points right around the 7th to 8th position. He's been very stout here this season so far. We'll see what the rest of the season holds for him as he looks to try and get himself back into the form he used to have earlier in past seasons. While this was going on, looking back at that battle right around the 6th position, Latham Joyner leading this train right now as they come off of turn number 4. That information up for you. That's valve of 5th according to our scoring, considering just not too far away. Alexander Hayter just inside the range of those guys, but this is really a battle for 6th right now. Casey Drake, Eric Keplinger, Ryan Kendrick, all within about 2 seconds of each other here, working around the speedway, but Latham Joyner has been able to hold him at bay here. He's only a spot away from getting inside the top 5. A little further ahead, that's Alexander Hayter in the 84. We talked about him in our profile a little bit ago, being involved in a crash there. Now the 84 working his way back toward the front, sitting solidly inside the top 5 and 5th position, looking to build on what was a great race back at Coda, where he finished in the 5th position there as well after getting that first career stage win. When we compare his pace to the driver behind him, Latham Joyner, see if he was gaining a little bit there, the 3 was, but now it's kind of leveled off him. Now it's stabilized, and now I think the 84 can try and chain together some good laps here and keep the gap between himself and that number 3 behind him. And coming up to lap number 95, entering that lap, 84 is pretty stout. He's trying to get another top 5 right now, and you see falling back a little bit more, about 1/10 and a quarter is Latham Joyner. Looking back at this battle, if we're talking about scoring and telemetry, this has been a pretty close fight on the track as well. This race for the lead, Dylan Ault and Jordan Koontz, your season 4 and 5 race winners respectively, battling for the race win right now. Coming close to 30 laps to go here in our evening, and these drivers maintaining pace with each other here. Let's go and bring up that lap time information and take a look at that here again. Really just fluctuating. You see a little bit of a gain for Dylan Ault, then a little bit of a gain for Koontz. They kind of keep trading those times back and forth. Wait for the scoring update there, and now a little more advantage going to Dylan Ault there. Jordan Koontz falling back by nearly a 10th there, so really just flowing back and forth. We want to see what's going to happen once these tires begin to fall off. Who's going to be the stronger in this group here? We'll let them call off turn 4 here to go ahead and get ready for lap number 98. And we'll see what the scoring shows here. Lap number 97 for them. A little more advantage going to Dylan Ault in the 40. We keep watching that battle here. Another driver we'll be looking at is Cody Webster, using a bit of a pack here as well. See, that's Jeff Gross in the 97. We're all the way back here, about 4 seconds back from the 97 to get Cody Webster. This is the race for the 12th position. Will Cloud, Luke Lofaro in this group here. Cody Webster down 9 spots on the night. Started in 3rd position, got bumped up the front row by Latham Joyner there, and now trying to get himself in position here to really try and save something out of his race. He's had an up and down season here. His last 2 finishes, 14th at Chicago, 8th at Coda. So he came in, had some ups and downs, found some speed, and now it's kind of going back in the wrong direction for him right now. We talked about his performance last season coming out of the booth. He had a good run back at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and that was for a late race crash ended that pace for him. But then now back in his full season in the car, just up and down race for him there in 91. Trying to turn the tide here if he wants to be part of the picture right now coming into tonight's race. He is in 8th in points, 74 back of points leader, Jordan Koontz. So Still has some work to do there in that 91 car. We'll see if he's able to do it as the season goes on. But 14th place right now for the 91. Back up front, the gap still remaining steady here. About a 10th separating these two drivers right now. Reeling them in a little bit there is Jordan Koontz, now getting that gap down to about 110. Now back up to 2 right now. They work through the corner. And that lap time information seemed like Jordan Koontz found a little something here in the last couple of laps. 300s, 200s respectively over those last few laps. Coming around for lap number 103, let's see what the lap time was on the previous lap. Continue to analyze this and see the pace beginning to turn here. And we see it again, the trend. Find a little, lose a little. We're seeing that continue to happen. Jordan Koontz on lap 98 found a 10th and then basically lost roughly a 10th in that last couple of laps here. It just keeps going back and forth, and we'll leave it on the screen one more time because I love seeing this telemetry to give us insights into where the energy is going, who has momentum on these laps here. Kind of holding steady here, basically call that flat and even right now. These two drivers, 200 of a second between them coming out the corner. The lead only 110 going down to turn 3. All this while Alexander Hayter has done a good job of separating himself from the rest of the group here. He's got a nice little cushion there between himself and Luke Peters back in the 4 spots. As they cool down here, Luke Peters, again, we talked about it, a good run. He got a top 5 back and served to be America's 3rd place. That's his best finish of the season. When you talk about Luke Peters, it's not that he really does not have the speed. He has shown speed, but unfortunately he's been caught up in the crashes in races. Go back to Untitled Speedway. He was right there contending for the win in those closing laps. Roughly last dozen or so before we saw him caught up in a crash when Cole Williams had a handling issue and collecting a bunch of leaders there coming off turn 2. Going back to Atlanta, we saw him have issues there, caught up in a big crash at that track, and Chicagoland even faced some challenges there. So when Luke Peters is able to avoid circumstances beyond his control, he shows he has speed, and right now with 24 laps to go, he's showing that pace right now, keeping himself comfortably spaced between Latham Joyner and then trying to close up there on Alexander Hayter. We'll go ahead and take a look at Hayter here. You see him roughly about 0.9 of a second ahead, comparing the lap time between these two. It's a little bit faster. There's Alex Hayter, roughly a 10th faster a couple laps ago, and holding steady around that time. Since then, we look at the updated telemetry. It'll pop up there. There it is. Holding about a 10th faster is that 84 car. 23, soon to be 22 laps to go here at Dover. Watching the race leader Dylan Ault hold off Jordan Koontz here, but has not been able to drive away from here like they have done the rest of the field. They have a 3-second lead over the 84 of Alexander Hayter. You see some lap cars just ahead of them there may become a factor should this race stay green here. Notably for Jordan Koontz, he did not pit all during he did not really pit at all during that first stage there, which may have led to him losing that first stage, with Jordan Koontz falling back to 3rd, Dylan Ault winning, and surging his way back to the front after the crash and handling off this very corner. If we have a late yellow, could Jordan Koontz have an extra set of tires in the back? Then, if he does he have time to even use them? These are questions here. That's a big what if. Does he have the ability to be able to utilize those tires in the amount of time he'll need to get back to the front? We'll be watching all that here as we continue to watch these drivers work their way around turns 1 and 2. The gap holding right now 0.2 of a second. Look at the lap times here. 300ths of a second gained by Jordan Koontz there, but falling back to now nearly 0.3 of a second behind. Let's see what this means in terms of dispatching. Back down to 400ths of a second. So you see again, to keep swinging back and forth. They gain a little, lose a little off these corners. And I think they're just searching for whatever they need. Of course, Dylan Ault right now playing a defensive game right now, trying to maintain the gap he has between himself and the 99. And Jordan Koontz just trying to find whatever that something is he needs to be able to get by the 40. But these lap cars could be an interesting factor for them to be able to try and get a position here if Jordan Koontz makes the move at the right time. Dylan Ault needs to negotiate this traffic very well. He wants to claim victory here, get his first win since Las Vegas back in season 1. So coming to 17 laps to go here at Dover Motor Speedway. We got a doubleheader coming up next week back at Bristol Motor Speedway, beginning with dirt track racing on the channel 1 week from today, and then we'll be doing asphalt racing at the same track the following week. So 2 weeks of Bristol. If you're a fan of that, look forward to having you guys tune in for what should be an exciting race event over those 2 weeks here on the channel. Looking forward to calling some Bristol racing here, but we still got 16 laps to decide who's going to go to victory lane here. Dylan Ault, again, as I mentioned, looking for his first win of the season. Jordan Koontz looking to try and get win number 3 this season after going to victory lane back at Circuit of the Americas. Last season, Jordan Koontz won this race, leading 111 or 180 laps. A really commanding performance here, but may have met his match in terms of raw speed right now in the 40 of Dylan Ault, one of our iRacing, Coca-Cola iRacing series drivers here on the service, racing in the upper echelons of the racing service with some of the best on the simulator. And now, we got one of our best right now facing off with them as we come down to 14 laps to go here at Dover. As this battle cools down a little bit, we'll go a little further back in the field, continue to watch this race for the 6th position. Latham Joyner has driven away from here. We're almost about for 5th right now. Pull up the telemetry for you right now. Way ahead on the loop. He is about a second away from this group. You see Latham Joyner, Brinkley, Casey's Rick, Eric Keplinger, all right now within 1.6 of each other at the yellow car back here. That's Eric Keplinger into 34. Still holding him back here, maintaining that 5th place position is Latham Joyner. Down a few spots from where he started the night. He started in 2nd position, back in 5th now, but still holding strong with Blaze Brinkley. These two know each other very well. We'll see how racy they get as this one goes on, and there it is, down to the inside goes the 11. He'll grab that spot away, and they'll drop the 3 back to the 6th position. Blaze Brinkley now rejoined the top 5, and is now level from where he started the night in 5th. Back at the front here, we're still watching this battle for the lead. It's still holding right around the 10th and a half right now. He would pass one lap car. He got another one just ahead of him. The 20 is Justin Rector just ahead of this group here. They raced out into turn number 1. Nose to tail here, really holding pace with the 40 is the 99 of Jordan Koontz. 10 laps to go, not too far away, literally 2 turns away from these drivers right now. And the battle continues to sizzle here in Dover, Delaware. The service giving us some issues here. Apologize for the stuttering there. Always when the action gets intense, things get a little bit weird here, but we'll ride it out here. We know we've had some bumps here and there with the service getting a little stuttery there, but right now, still got our eyes on this battle here inside. 10 laps to go. Still a close fight here. Catching the apron there. A minor mistake there from the 99. Going through turn 3, it'll cost him a little bit of time there, but he'll reel it back in, going down into turn number 1. Lap time history, we'll look at it again. Last 3 laps there, I'm sorry, the previous 3 laps in that bit of a series from 17 to 19, you see he was gaining a bit there on Dylan Ault, and then he leveled out again. So there are gains and there are losses here as they work around. Sounds like crypto, gains and losses. Who's going to go to the moon here this evening and go to victory lane at Dover? We'll find out here in about 8 laps time. Now about 600ths faster is Dylan Ault that last time on lap number 122. And this race quickly approaching here, and not sure who's going to win this. All it takes one mistake for us to get side by side here. As things settle down here again, Justin Rector may have caught the wall there a little bit ahead of this group here as they race down to turn number 1. Our eyes on these drivers as they work through turns 1 and 2, holding steady right now, 0.2 of a second behind the 40. Here's the 99 of Dylan Ault. Sorry, the 40 of Dylan Ault. Out front still. I'm getting a little tripped up here. I'm sorry, it's been a long day, so mind's a little wary here after it's been a long day of things going on. The 40 of Dylan Ault leading this race, still 6 laps to go here. The 99 of Jordan Koontz not too far behind, holding the gap. It's really been consistent for him. 0.2 of a second here. 1/10, 2/10, 1/10, 2/10. Fluctuating between that window here, just not able to break through the barrier of 1/10 of a second to maybe get side by side with them there. But now they got a lap car coming up ahead of them with 5 laps to go here. I'll go back to it again. Back during the first stage, Jordan Koontz did not come to pit road at one point. He did not pit during that stage. So it's possible he could have another set of tires waiting for him here, but the time is ticking away. It's dwindling here for these drivers. Coming to 4 laps to go here at Dover. Still leading this driver right around here, out front by about 0.2 of a second, then it's 3 seconds back to the Alex Hayter machine, and Luke Peters and Blaze Brinkley, your top 5. Keeping high will be that 28, allowing these 2 drivers to go through. 3 laps to go here at Dover. Continue to watch these guys race hard for position down into turn number 1. The gap holding steady at 0.2. Looking at the lap time, Dylan Ault still a little bit faster here and gets loose off the corner. That's going to cost a lot of time there for Jordan Koontz. The gap now 0.6 of a second, coming around for 2 laps to go. The pressure easing for the 40 coming off of turn number 4 after the car gets away from Jordan Koontz. A little fishtail there, and that cost him 0.3 of a second right there on the clock. You see it there. He'll fall back about 0.6 of a second now. Trying to reel him back in, but the clock is dwindling away. Down into turn number 3 for the second to last time here, and the caution flag comes out with 3 laps to go. Latham Joyner there, some damage to his car right now. I'm gonna take a look at a replay here, see if we can figure out what happened there. He was part of the battle we were seeing a little bit earlier. Now they're 3 wide down at this point. That's never gonna end well at Dover. And there's been some side contact there, and the car just snaps to the right, and that is something we've seen happen a few times this season. It's the car violently snapping to the right there. We're going one more time here, side by side down past the start finish line, and then just maybe some net code there, and just a car violently snapping there. So now we get back to live pictures. Drivers heading to pit road. Alexander Hayter, Jordan Koontz, Blaze Brinkley among the drivers making pit stops here. Looking at drivers who are staying on the track right now, though. We gotta get our eyes on that. Let's go ahead and switch to our blimp cam here so we can see that and get a better vantage point. Dylan Ault staying out on the track. Luke Peters, Eric Keplinger staying out on the track here. So Keplinger will cycle around. It looks like he'll go ahead and get back on lead lap. Not sure why he passed by the pace car there, but we'll get that sorted out here in the scoring. But Dylan Ault out front. Luke Peters now looks like he's also staying out there. So very interesting situation developing here right now as we are now behind the pace car. I had a feeling we would see something like this happen here. We're going to get ready for some overtime racing here at Dover, and you know, it's going to get weird here. I'm very intrigued to see how quickly Jordan Koontz and others, if they have tires, will be able to get through this field here. We'll go ahead and set it up here as these drivers head off pit road. So you see the scoring updating right now. Jordan Koontz scored in the 4th position, so he would start on the outside line here with Luke Peters ahead of him. When everyone gets back together, we'll go ahead and pull up the telemetry information. That's a lap car there. Justin Rector heading into the pits there. A lap car right now in the middle of this group. We'll go ahead and bring up the last time these drivers were on pit road and make sure the scoring is correct here. We'll go ahead and pull it up for you, and it's not showing up here, so unfortunately that is not working here at the moment, so not sure why that stopped working there. There we go. So that's all we wanted. We wanted to see that data. We want hard facts and data here. Dylan Ault last on pit road, lap number 66 along with Luke Peters, and then you see lap number 79 the last time the Eric Keplinger machine was in the pits, and then Blaze Brinkley, Jordan Koontz pitting this most recent time by on lap number 130. So very intriguing situation here. So lap 66 for Dylan Ault, Luke Peters, Eric Keplinger, lap number 79. 3 different strategies here. What does this mean for our race? Well, it means it's going to get real wild here real quick, because you know Dover is known for wheel spin. It's so hard to just put the power down, especially when you're on old tires. And Dylan Ault and Luke Peters will have their hands full fighting off these cars behind them, particularly Jordan Koontz and Blaze Brinkley, if he's able to move through traffic here. Really, for the 40, it's going to be about getting that restart, being able to break out and get that restart and get that good jump going into turn 1. Chop off as much time as you can from the cars behind you to be able to drive away. So A lot of things we'll be watching as we get ready for this restart. It's going to be an anxious one here, and very possible this may not be our last caution here, and that's not what some of the drivers probably want to hear when they're talking about wanting to head over to Road to Pro and get to their next race, which I think they're racing at Bristol Dirt this evening, so a lot of excitement for them. There's still some storylines here to play out. We still got to decide our race winner. How this is all going to play out here. Let's go ahead and set it up. We'll leave that information on the screen for you on the right side so you get an understanding of what this is all about. Dylan Ault is your race leader. Last on pit road, lap number 66. His partner in crime in that regard is Luke Peters, who also pitted on lap number 66 in the second position. Eric Keplinger, he pitted last time in lap number 79. Jordan Koontz, last on pit road, lap number 130. So you see there, you got the drivers who came on the pit road and got full service just behind them by a row. Jordan Koontz will have to try and figure out what his game plan is going to be real quick as they work down past the Ally Bridge, heading into turn 3. It's about to get wild here. Will this be our last yellow flag of the evening? I don't know. My gut is saying it's not, but maybe it will be. Maybe this will set up the perfect opportunity for Jordan Koontz and others who saved us on the tires in the race. Let's find out what's about to happen. Getting ready for the green flag here. We're in overtime here at Dover. They're going to stack them up, and now they take off, roaring toward us here in turn number 1. They're getting racy already. 3 wide down to the corner. Good jump there for Dylan Ault. You see the 99 on the outside here, working to get past Luke Peters, crashing off the corner. And they're going to wreck again. That's not what they want. The caution flag is back out. Currently sitting in third position now is Jordan Koontz. Dylan Ault sitting in first still. Malachi Drake, an innocent bystander and all that, he pitted during the most recent caution, and he was caught up in that crash along with Cody Webster, Anthony Hyatt, and Justin Rector. We'll go and take a look at it here. See a violent impact there. Will Cloud, Cody Webster caught up in that. We'll go and look at that again. We have our eyes on him specifically when it happened. We'll take a look at it again. There's people catching the wall. They're off the corner reacting to it. And then you see the 29 of Casey Drake in the wall and then gets sent around the 90. Hard, violent impact into the wall right into the path of Alexander Hayter. And that broke out. We'll go ahead and take a look at that one more time from the perspective of Alex Hayter. That's gotta be scary for him to see a car just slingshot across your front end there. Jumping back to live pictures here, drivers making their way into the pits, their damaged cars making their way into the pits here. As we now sit behind a pace car again, our 9th caution of the night, we have to redo overtime again. Dylan Ault, your race leader here, Jordan Koontz, Luke Peters, Eric Keplinger, Blaze Brinkley, the top 5. So as we've been talking about, different pit situations for these drivers. Now the front row will be made up of drivers who are on completely different pit strategies. Not to bore you with these details again, but we gotta go over them. Here's the information. The difference between the two leaders here, Jordan Koontz, Dylan Ault. Dylan Ault last pit on lap number 66, Jordan Koontz lap number 130. Further back, Luke Peters pitted also on lap number 66. He's fallen back to the 3rd spot on that restart. Lap number 79 for Eric Keplinger. And then Blaze Brinkley holding in 5th position. Also pitted in the most recent caution. You see the information there on the screen. So now things getting very interesting here at the track is really, this is not what some of those drivers who are looking to do the Road to Pro series, this is not what they wanted. Have these cautions continuing to bunch this field back up here. The only driver this really helps is Dylan Ault, because he was able to quickly get past a couple of cars there and get himself now to be alongside Dylan Ault for this restart. So it's going to be a battle of old versus new. These tires are very old on the 40. Can he put the power down and get the jump he needs to drive away and play adequate defense on Jordan Koontz? Jordan Koontz, can he use those new tires to his advantage on this restart and continue to fight that 40 on the outside? If we go all the way back to the beginning of the race. When we saw these two cars race for the lead earlier, the 99 on those tires that they had at the beginning of the race was far and above one of the best drivers out there on the track in terms of fighting back on the outside of the track. Dylan Ault fought on the low side of this facility, ultimately got loose off of turn 2 and had a violent impact into the wall with the 91 getting collected in that. But essentially rebounded from that incident. Big jump, quick jump there. They're back on the way here. Pace car still working its way down pit road here. It's what Dylan Ault needs to do. 2 laps to go here. And Dover slingshotting down into turn number 1 with speeds of 40, but Jordan Koontz is looking to rocket up on the back bumper of that 40 car. Banging doors here, coming down the backstretch to 40, throwing the blocks, trying to put that 99 out of position here. Off the corner, we'll hold them off for now. White flag, will they receive it? They will. The last lap underway, presented by Cory Harts Media down to the low side. Side-by-side fight here, washing up the track. The 40 and the 99 fighting down the backstretch. Brinkley now up into the 3rd position, fighting to hang on to that car. They'll keep fighting side by side here. Jordan Koontz with the edge, coming on turn 4. Can the 40 do anything about it? He will not. He will finish in the 2nd position as Jordan Koontz wins here at Dover Motor Speedway. That is his 3rd win this season. An impressive run there and strategy paying off for Jordan Koontz, being able to break through, play the strategy, keep that set of tires in the back for that exact situation, and now will get his 3rd race win this season and goes back-to-back. And we'll go back-to-back here at Dover International Speedway. A tremendous run there. And you know what? I'm going to see if we can get a couple of drivers in here, because I think for the drivers, that is the priority for them, is to head off to Road to Pro. So I'm just going to try and get our race winner at least, at minimum. And I'll grab whoever I can right now as we let Jordan Koontz celebrate there. And we'll just try and move through these interviews because everyone has places to go this evening. So Ryan Kendrick, who finished in 5th this evening, any thoughts you have on the race? A crazy one there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, my first race of the season, so I was hoping I could get a solid finish, and, I ended up happening. I thought, towards the end I was going to end up getting like 10th or so, but got lucky with those last couple cautions and was able to move up there at the end.
Yeah, it was a crazy race there at the end, and seeing the strategy pay off there. We're heading to Bristol Dirt here next race. What are your thoughts on dirt racing?
I mean, I'm not good at it. I don't know if I'm racing next week, but if I do race, the plan is to survive, I guess, because I don't really have any good thoughts about it.
That's how I approach dirt racing, just to survive and get the heck out of there. So congratulations,
Yeah.
you survived the Dover, the Monster Mile here. Congratulations on the top 5 finish. I'll let you get to where you need to go, but congratulations again.
Thank you.
All right, we'll keep moving through interviews here quickly, trying to get some of these drivers, and we'll bring in Latham Joyner, who finished in the 4th position. Quickly, what are your thoughts on tonight's race? How did you manage, and talk us through that event?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty wild. Really didn't have any strategy for that race because I expected it to be a wreck fest like it was. And then I got 50 seconds damage pretty early. Then I got a minute and a half damage and waited to take my fast repair. Then I got shot 3 wide and kind of got left reared or whatever. Got the caution that, honestly, I won it because I killed my tires. But then it just ended up working out. Got that first restart. We were going to roll pretty good, I think. Then we all hit the fence and then did the same thing on the second restart, but it worked out that time.
Yeah, pretty crazy one out there, Latham, and we got Bristol Dirt on the docket, so probably just as crazy. Thoughts on taking the next gen to Dirt next week?
I mean, I like dirt. Do I think I'll be the best in here? Definitely not. But, so, I mean, it is what it is. We all got to deal with it. So I think it's just a pretty good idea, though.
Awesome. Well, we'll see what you can do when we head to Bristol Dirt next week. First of 2 weeks we'll spend there beginning next Thursday, but congratulations on the top 5 this evening.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we'll keep moving through our interviews quickly here. 3rd place, our first step on the podium, Brinkley, yet again finding his way through all the craziness to get himself a top 3 finish. Blaze, talk us quickly through the evening here. We know you guys got places to go, but man, you survived a crazy one out there. Got yourself a top 5.
Yeah, that was a very, very, very crazy race. Not real sure how to play that one out, but it ended up going in our favor, so I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, definitely won't there. That was an exciting finish at the end. You were one of the few drivers who came to pit road to pit and it paid off for you. Thoughts on dirt racing? We're taking next gen to Bristol next race.
I'm excited. I like different stuff that's not really what everyone always does. It's just something new. So hopefully we'll get a good finish and come out of there pretty
Well,
decently.
we'll be watching you. It's a short track, so we always got to watch the Brinkley Hefner racing drivers. So you'll certainly be on our ones to watch coming up next week. Congratulations on being on a podium and a top 5 finish for you here at Dover.
Yep, thank you.
All right, and we'll now move to our race winner, Dylan Ault, having to move on this evening to take care of other things, get ready for other races. Our winner, Jordan Koontz in the 99. Thoughts on getting your 3rd victory this season and repeating here at Dover?
Well, I mean, to beat Dylan Ault, I think that's special. I know he was on old tires and I was on new, but I was right there with him the whole race. So to be as fast as him is really cool, and just play the tire strategy a bit smarter. That's what won me the race, and to win back here at Dover, I think it just showed that I'm really good at this track.
You're incredible here. And before we let you go, talk about the start to your season. Not only 3 wins in the season, but on 3 very different tracks, 3 different types of tracks. Is this the start to the season you were looking for?
It definitely is. I think it's the start to the season that everybody would be looking for. I never expected it to be this good, but to win on 3 different types of tracks shows that I really know this new next gen Cup car. So I think that I can only get stronger from here.
Well, we'll throw another challenge at you next week doing some dirt racing at Bristol. Congratulations on your 3rd victory this season and 2 in a row. And we'll see what you do next week when we head to Bristol Dirt for our 2-week stint there.
Thank you.
All right, that'll wrap up our interviews here for the evening. I apologize for the seemingly rushed nature of those. The drivers do have to get to different races here. I know they're very committed to running the Road to Pro series here, and that's about to kick off here in mere seconds for these drivers. So definitely want to make sure they were able to get to those events there. But again, what a great finish we saw toward the end there, and what a thrilling run to the checkered flag there. Dylan Ault falling to 2nd place here after battling with Jordan Koontz. The strategy coming to Jordan Koontz at the end, who I thought may have saved a set of tires during that first stage and kept a set just in case something were to happen. And sometimes you have to play the long game here, even when you begin to doubt that strategy will pay off. It can happen to the best of us. You begin to question if saving that set was advantageous. It was, and it helped him move his way through the field and be able to get that victory this evening. 3rd this season for him. Really a career season so far. We're not even at the halfway point yet. As you see on the right side of your screen, Bristol will be our home for the next 2 weeks. We'll truck in some virtual dirt, cover the place, and do some dirt racing next Thursday. And 2 weeks from today, we'll go and pull it all up, have an asphalt race right after that. So that's going to be really fun. And 3 weeks from today, we got our All-Star race. We'll have an All-Star Open and an All-Star Showdown where these drivers will lay it all out there at Nashville Super Speedway in the next-gen car. So that's going to be really fun to witness here on the broadcast. So with that, congratulations to Jordan Koontz. An incredible start to the season, win number 3 in only 6 races.